Religious practices serve as a daily training to promote and maintain a certain distance towards the materiality of this world. And that detachment helps me overcome material loss. This material world is doomed to decay. In order to not get trapped within that decay, to overcome it, you need to distance yourself and you need to see it as a vehicle and not as an objective in itself. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So in chapter 3, section 5, the different benefits, material benefits or psychological benefits we can derive from religious practices. So I went through 3 examples which were positivity, agency, efficiency. There's many more you can derive, like health, psychological and physical health benefits. But it's enough to show that you can derive benefits. So in summary, religious practices serve as a daily training to promote and maintain a certain distance towards materiality, the materiality of this world. And that detachment, again, allows me to focus on the use of this object or occupations rather than on the object or occupation themselves. This material detachment associated with the idea of a inherently good and just God, as well as the hope for a better future, helps me overcome material loss. Again, this world is doomed to decay. This material world is doomed to decay. In order to not get trapped within that decay, to overcome it, you need to distance yourself and you need to see it as a vehicle and not as an objective in itself. So ultimately, this detachment prepares me for the unavoidable consequences of aging and death. So to have that state of mind is important because it informs your intention. So for example, when you start a project like this Burhan Institute of Research, I put a lot of effort and hopes within it. But what if I die before achieving it? What if I die tomorrow? What if it fails? What if someone else copy and becomes more successful? Then what? I would have failed that objective. I would have failed materially that objective, but spiritually and intentionally I have to make sure to do it in accordance with religious precepts, to make sure that I'll benefit from it whatever happens, even if I die tomorrow, even if it fails, even if someone takes up the idea and becomes more successful than I, it's all right. I have to achieve that mindset that reassures me that what I do is for the sake of Allah and not for my own, and not only for my own. It's all right, and I die, but for the time being, by associating conviction with action, the religious practice serves as a training for enacting my ideals. And if these ideals are influenced by the religious precept of love and respect for the people around me, I will see myself actively building a socially more just society, inshallah. Furthermore, by punctuating the day with the prayers, the week with Jummah, for example, the month with fasting, the year with Ramadan, Hajj, these religious practices, they make me more attentive to the passing of time. They help me avoid falling into the routine of life by inviting me to regularly re-evaluate each action on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly, yearly basis. Finally, the material constraints required by religious practices help me regain control over my own desires, being control over oneself. And this self-control associated with prioritization of my actions will make me more effective in society, inshallah. So far I've been discussing the benefits, the material. By material I imply both physical and psychological benefits of adhering to religious practices. And I did so to argue that even from a material point of view, from a materialist point of view, religion fulfills the condition of being useful. Like any other scientific theory, one of the conditions for them to be taken into consideration is to be useful. However, I bear in mind that from an Islamic point of view, the material benefits generated and maintained by religious practices are only vehicles for spiritual elevations, to get closer to God. And as I did before, I would argue that looking forward to any material benefits on the way to God is in itself an expression of faith. Is to be convinced that whatever Allah asks me to do is inherently beneficial in all aspects of my life. Accordingly, I'm allowed to look forward to these material benefits to increase in my devotion. Inshallah. Wa jazakallahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.